is Yarn on WNCW Strikes and Gutters, giving us our segue to our live session with I See Hawks in LA. And we've got the trio of Rob Waller, Paul Lax, and Paul Marshall in Studio B today. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hi.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Good to see you, Joe.
Yeah, I'm back here in the South in front of a couple of shows at festivals in the region.
That's right. We're getting ready to go out into the world. We're going to be at the Albino Skunk Fest tonight and up at the French Broad River Fest tomorrow, and then heading back to LA, then doing the west coast of the U.S., and then over to Ireland and England and a little bit later in the summer. And it feels good. It feels good to be getting out on the road again. You get a little bit lost in Los Angeles sometimes.
I bet. I enjoyed looking at your website. It's ichawks.com and talking about kicking off the tour and flying into Charlotte with the $3 suitcase packed as tight as you could get it.
Yeah, we pulled a fast one on the airlines.
It always feels good when you can get one up on the airlines.
So, I guess it's not all glamour if it's a $3 suitcase. From the outside appearances, you think you guys are, just flying in first class and everything.
That's right. We still fly first class. We just don't like spending a lot on luggage.
So you've just come out with your 6th record and getting a lot of acclaim for it, as you would expect. How's the process of making the record and starting the tour?
Well, we made the record. I guess we finished it. We recorded it all live, acoustic record. We've always wanted to do an acoustic record, and we've always sort of succumbed to the siren song of pedal steel and Telecaster at the last minute, wanting to do overdubs and stuff. So we just didn't give ourselves that opportunity this time. We just decided we're going to go in, we're going to record this record the old-fashioned way, 3 microphones on acoustic instruments in the studio, do it live, do all lead vocal takes at the time we're playing. And it's just been great. It takes less time, but it just makes it, you got to go for it a little bit harder. I think one of the things with, all the benefits of digital technology is you can change things endlessly, and try to make it better. And sometimes you do, but a lot of times you don't. And I think that old-fashioned way of getting the songs ready to record and getting yourself ready to perform really shines on this record. I think
when there's a lot of stuff bleeding from one instrument into the other instrument's mic, there's less chances of doing more work later, and you just kind of go with the best take and live with it and enjoy it.
Yeah, and the best performance, you get the most soul, I think, on those performances.
Yeah, live recording with no overdubs is not for the faint of heart, though.
No, it's not for the faint of heart. It takes courage or recklessness, and what is the difference? We don't know. It all depends. On the results. If it's successful, you were brave. If it was a mess, you were reckless. But we think we were brave. We were brave.
So is it the trio on the tour?
It's the trio on the tour. We're going to have drums here and there. We've got a drummer playing with us tonight.
Yeah, Jamie I think he might be from Asheville. We actually have not met him. Chris from the French Broad River Fest introduced us to each other. We don't even know what he looks like, but we know he's been diligently studying our tunes. And we'll have our first rehearsal tonight on stage.
Well, good. French Broad tomorrow and tonight at the Albino Skunk at the Skunk Farm in Greer.
That's right.
And we're very glad to have you here in Spindale. It's I See Hawks in LA live on WNCW. Have another song?
You bet. If You Lead.
Another one from the new record.
Yeah, that's the last song on the new record, and we wrote that. A friend of ours in Sweden was putting together a compilation of secular hymns, sort of spiritual songs without, necessarily a obvious religious focus. And that's what we came up with. And it's sort of, for me, like Paul Marshall and I wrote that song together. For me, it's sort of like I have 3 small children, and I sort of feel like I follow them. They're sort of teaching me things about, how to love better and stuff like that. And I know Paul Marshall has sort of a different idea about it, but it's sort of like, I think it's sort of intergenerational, sort of following either the younger generation or the older generation.
And
would you agree with that, Paul Marshall?
I agree with everything you said.
Well, talking about some of the themes of this record, it mentions in the promotional material, the background material on the record about saying something to the effect that dark times needing some acknowledgement, and there is a lot of fairly dark material on here.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't know if it's. I mean, I guess death is dark. I guess
It's used as a metaphor for darkness. I know that.
but I don't know. Maybe it's heavy or serious. I mean, in times, but then there's sort of silly songs too. But I think it's optimistic. I mean, like there's a song, which we might play next, which is "Your Love Is Going to Kill Me," and some people have thought, oh, that's a song about sort of failed marriages, and we're like, no, it's a song about successful marriages. It's if you're together for that long life, if you get lucky to have that long life together, at some point one person's got to go first, most likely. But about kind of anticipating that separation, but in celebration of what's happening now, that you did it. You spent your life together. At some point the life stops. But to me, that's a pretty celebratory song.
Well, tell us about the song that celebrates or mourns the passing of Amy Ferris.
Oh yeah, the Spirit of Death. Well, Amy Ferris, for those folks who didn't get the chance to know her or hear her music, was an amazing violin player and singer and songwriter who was from Texas but spent about the last 10 years or 12 years of her life, I guess, in Los Angeles. We had the good fortune to play with her a lot, do a lot of shows with her, and she was in Dave Alvin's band with the Guilty Women. But she passed away last September a year before. So we just miss her, and so we wrote a song called "The Spirit of Death," which is a tribute to her, and also Gabe Witcher played violin on it, and sort of towards the end there's a real kind of triumphant violin outro, and we just felt like that her musical spirit is still so strongly with us that we wanted to pay tribute to her on that song.
And at the same time, there are some really lovely and more affirming or positive, if you will,
cheerful
songs.
Sure.
Falling in Love with the Grateful Dead.
Right.
That's an easy one, I bet.
Yeah, that's one. That's a fun one. We realized at some point along our journey here together that we'd seen the Grateful Dead in several different decades. I saw them in the 90s, some spots not too far from here. I saw them in Hamden, Virginia. Paul Lax saw them in the 70s.
Early 70s.
In California. Paul Marshall in the 80s, and played with Brent Medland on his solo record at that time. So we each wrote verses sort of about our Grateful Dead experiences, and those found their way into the song.
All right, a little ode to a band a few of us know.
Band a few of us know, that's right.
All right.
Lots going on there.
Yeah. I See Hawks in L.A. A few people can relate to that.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. So looking at your pictures, and one of the ones I really like of the band is you against the background of Los Angeles, but kind of far away on a hill, so you kind of have some natural surrounding too. And thinking about your name, I See Hawks in L.A., you've got that juxtaposition of the natural world and Los Angeles.
Right.
You got it. That's exactly the kind of the core of our outlook, our collective outlook.
But it seems that L.A. too would be a perfect place to have your kind of music, because Southern California, you've got a long tradition of this, country and psychedelia and things.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we definitely feel proud to be part of that tradition. From the Byrds to a couple bands I see are playing in town tonight, Poco and Pure Prairie League. That we noticed that, and we were like, man, we should go up there and sing 7 Mile Road. But yeah, we're glad to be part of that, and still connect to it, and have the Hawks in our name as, it's a subtle shout out to the Byrds as well,
And maybe the Eagles.
Early Eagles.
Early Eagles.
Well, it makes you think about place and the origins and how important that is to making music. I mean, you're definitely not a band that would come from New York.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And I mean, I often say the ground has a sound, and where the ground that you're standing on and cultivating and living around, it's going to make your music sound different. And if you live in New Orleans, you're going to make music that has a flavor of New Orleans in it. It might not be pure Cajun or, meters funk, but it's going to be influenced by it if you pay attention to it. And we pay attention to it, and I think that you try to nurture that and develop it and be local. We're a local band with global aspirations.
Well, you get to tour the globe. That's for
right.
sure.
That's right.
Well, speaking of touring, I mean, you've been around for 11 years now,
Yeah.
as this band. But I wanted to ask you about some of maybe your more favorite moments or people that you've toured with. Like Dave Alvin or Ray Wiley Hubbard, and I'm sure the list is pretty long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're all great storytellers, among other things. They're obviously fantastic singer-songwriters, but getting Dave off on a story, or Ray Wiley Hubbard in particular, is you're not sure if you want to hear him play or tell another story.
His stories are endlessly hilarious and fun. And we've played with Lucinda Williams a few times, and I remember we played with her at the Catalyst in Santa Cruz, and the Catalyst is kind of this big, almost like giant bowling alley or something. It's like this big old empty cavern or like an armory or something. And there's 2,000 people in there, and she just has it silent, and this audience just hanging on every word, and they just, I mean, you learn from playing with these people too, like you watch Lucinda sing to a crowd and keep a crowd on their fingertips, their toes like that, and it's an amazing thing to watch. And Chris Hillman, we've played with a bunch and toured with him some as well. And one time we got to play with Chris, and Tom Petty was there. And, I mean, those are our heroes, So we're, when we get the chance to be around those folks and play shows with them, it's a big thrill for us.
Well, as you say on the liner notes, or maybe it's on your website, we thrive in the margins.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
It's true. There's little towns like Winters, California, and
Newman,
and out in Marin County. There's these, we have these really solid followings, and we have a good following in LA because we won't go away, and we've been there forever. But we find these pockets, and we consider North Carolina. I mean, we don't get out here that often, but we feel the love every time we come out. It's like we never left.
Rob Waller, Paul Lax, and Paul Marshall. I See Hawks in L.A. on WNCW this afternoon. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
We love WNCW. Thanks to all your listeners, and what a great station you guys have. We're so happy to be here.
Thanks. Best of luck with the new record and the tour.
Okay, thanks a lot. See you next time.
Now to John Lee Hooker.